Welcome back to Cougar Creations. I'm Haley.
And I'm Ash. With December approaching, we have some student-led activities coming up, like student-led plays, magical, and also student-led clubs.
Wait, magical like the dinners that the choir does every year?
Yeah, they're performing December 12th through 14th.
No way, what is it about?
We will find out in today's episode when they talk to our choir director, Mr. Grizzard, about the planning and behind the scenes that goes down at these dinners.
Also talking to our queen, Kaylee and Nolan, who plays town crier, about their roles in these dinners, not just their performances, but their experiences within the program.
Welcome, good lords and ladies fair. This is Madrigal's 47th year here at GC. These dinners are held in where I'm standing right now, Trinity Park. They're also catered by Copper Kettle. These dishes are served by the underclassmen choirs. And our advanced choir Madrigal are the ones singing and performing on stage. Today we had a chat with Mr. Grizzard. Mr. Grizzard has been a choir director here at GC for 10 years. Before GC, he had been directing at Rushville, also for 10 years. With 10 years of GC's Magical Dinners under his belt, we decided to dive a little bit deeper and ask him about what preparations are like for the Magical Dinners, how he picks music, the mask for that year, and more.
My name is Paul Grizzard, and this is my 10th year being the choir director here at the high school. Well, if you don't know, Magical Dinners are a Renaissance dinner. It is all in costume and everything, so you're traditionally have music from the Renaissance period, which is like the 1600s, and so you pick music from then. We also don't have a piano. The choir is a very good choir, so we do things what's called a cappella, so no piano, and so we do things that are just voices only. Not to get too in the weeds, but there are 3 different madrigal kind of schools. There's actually 4, the Italian, the French, the Spanish, and the English. And I try to hit most of those. Most people prefer the English, and then every year we do at least one foreign language. So this year we did hit the French one. I do want to do music that has a different language. It's good experience. And then I always try to sneak in something a little bit more contemporary. And so this year, that is, as you know, our song Earth Song is a beautiful one, but it was written, I believe, in 2005. So I try to do songs from the Renaissance, but we also do some newer songs. When I pick the mask, I go through a lot of scripts. It takes me quite a long time. If people don't know, the Madrigal Dinner is kind of led through a kind of a funny plot that kind of introduces the manor, the castle, and kind of has a little funny through line throughout the dinners. I do want to make sure we have enough people, and so as any director does for a play, I'm sure Mr. Dahlstrom does, is when you are picking a show, you need to think if you have characters who could play that. By no means are you casting it ahead of time, but you want to make sure you have the people. And then I've noticed a lot of these scripts have a lot of audience participation. Some audiences love that, some audiences hate that. And so I try to find one that has some way to get the audience involved, but not too much, because some audiences would rather just sit and watch and not take part. The Madrigal Dinners they take place off-site at Trinity Park Church, just right down the road, but that does take extra planning because of it being not on school property. So we do have to talk to them well in advance. As a school, we plan out our calendar usually in April for the following school year, and so I always call Trinity Park to make sure that we have their space available. We sometimes have to rework the weekends around that. We do use what's called kind of their multi-purpose room, so it's not their church sanctuary, but still we do not want to get in their way. We are very lucky to have their space, and so to plan ahead for the venue, we have to make sure that we can use the site. Well, yes, it is a big undertaking. This is our 47th year, and I don't take that lightly. This is a big tradition here in Hancock County, and so something so all-consuming can kind of make you a little anxious. And so what I tell my students and myself is the cure to being nervous is to be prepared. And so I put a lot of work in. The main thing is the music side of things. I know the music well, and I spend a lot of time doing score study that most people don't know, that I make sure I know all the parts and I can hear it, because as a musician, in terms of assessment, many teachers have to take formal assessments where the students fill something out and then you have time to grade and then give feedback. Well, in music, it is on-the-fly assessment where I have to hear things and I have to be able to fix things right as things are happening, and so that takes preparation on my part. For the Magical Dinners, this is my 10th year, and so my first year I spent a long time getting things set up. When it's a recurring event, a lot of things are done similarly every year, and I want to make sure I had the ground floor there before my first year. As you know, as a madrigal student, we have those yellow books. I put those books together. I actually composed one of the songs. We have a song that's called Landlord for tenors and basses. That's a funny one. And many schools do that one, but there was not any soprano and alto one. And I figured that is not fair. And then some girl groups would try to do a funny song like Landlord, and I figured they needed their own time. So I composed the song Unfading Fire. That took me a long time, and it is now a tradition that people come back and know from their years here. And that might be something that students don't know, but now that we have those things in place, then things get passed down from year after year, which makes things easier.
We then asked Mr. Grizzard what approaches he uses when teaching the advanced choir, what his expectations are, responsibilities, and what madrigal means to him.
Madrigal is different because it is self-conducted. I have 4 other choirs where I'm standing in front and they watch me and they do what I say. For the madrigal, I am off to the side, and the ensemble is self-conducted. So that takes promoting leadership from within, which is very tough, where we have not just musical leadership, like we have students who give head nods. You don't see me at all. If you come to these dinners, you won't see me at all. And it takes leadership giving musical cues. It also takes leadership from, just knowing that you will look to each other and not necessarily to an authority figure for leadership. What I always say is, I have adults in this room. I have 18-year-olds, and I want my students to be good singers. I also want them to be good people and be ready for adulthood. Seniors next year when they go to college, if they want, they could skip every single class, and no one is there to watch them. They will be wasting their money. They will be making terrible decisions. But I think as a secondary teacher, it's my job to show that there are things that you do in life because you want to do them, not because somebody's looking over your shoulder. And so to have students who I met as squirrely 8th graders when they were freshmen, to then be young adults ready to do things because they want to, and hopefully madrigal is something they enjoy doing. I push that leadership from within to show that in this life there are things you work hard at because you know other people are counting on you and because you know it's the right thing to do. As always, it is a very big event, and not to toot our own horn, but it is a very good and professional looking event, and I try to make it seem like a professional event where the pity is gone from the audience. As a father of young children, I get maybe dragged to things where you go and you think, isn't that my kid cute? Isn't that cute? And you're kind of rooting for them. But then there comes a point where then you go and you are entertained, and you go there because it is truly a remarkable performance and not because you feel like you have to be there. And so I want my students well prepared so that they don't break character in the skit, so that the music is seamless and that the audience doesn't really think that they're there just to show support for their kid, but because they are there and they kind of get the illusion of disbelief into the show and make sure that you are there being entertained and not being there against your will, I should say. I was in madrigal when I was a student, not here, but in my school in Illinois, and so that is it was a highlight of my high school career. To be able to give that to other students is just such a joy. I know there might be some legacy students who see this, and the show choir is fun, but in terms of legacy and madrigal is my passion. And madrigal is really a college-level choir of just an excellent ensemble. And for me, it is trying to give back to what I received when I was a student and knowing that I'm giving students an experience that hopefully will be a highlight of their high school.
The madrigal dinners have more parts than just the ones inside the play. They also have ones inside the choir: King, Queen, Prince, and Princess. The King and Queen are decided by a vote by the choir. Whoever wins second place in that vote gets awarded Prince and Princess. We also have section leaders, which are decided by our director, Mr. Grizzard. We then met up with our very own Queen Kaylee. We asked Kaylee about the experiences she's had within the program, what being Queen means to her, and what the leadership role of Queen is like.
So I actually joined choir my sophomore year. I didn't do it freshman year because I wanted to do theater. I wanted to take the theater class, and I did concert choir my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I was in legacy and madrigal. And then this year, I'm in legacy and madrigal as well. So it's just been, I think, something that's very much formed who I am. I did choir all throughout middle school, so I think it's just a big part of me, and it's a great place to be, and it feels like a family. Okay, so I'm the queen. I'm the queen in the mask as well. So with the madrigal, with Madrigal in general, you have the royalty. So that's the king, queen, prince, and princess, and that actually gets voted on. So I was voted to be queen, which was very exciting for me. And then the mask is the play within the Madrigal. So the play this year is about a clumsy princess. It's the king queen's daughter, and they're trying to get her married because there's a curse on her. I'm not going to go too into detail about it, but I basically had a designated role in it. So to be the queen is really exciting because I get to be the queen in the mask and the play. Well, I've been coming to the Madrigal dinner since I was in 6th grade. So, not 6th grade, 4th grade. And so to be one of the leaders that I have been watching for years is just, I've literally dreamed about this since then. So to actually be able to do that this year has been a lot of fun. It's been challenging because I'm not super musically inclined, which this is choir. So that's a little difficult. I've definitely had to step up my game and learn how to read music more efficiently. And hearing, oh, this is what's wrong, this doesn't sound right, can we try this again, can we do this again? So I feel like it's definitely something, not necessarily out of my comfort zone, but something new that I've had to kind of explore and figure out. The queen role is definitely a big responsibility. The king and queen do most of the head nods, we announce the songs, we announce the dinner. So like I said, it's a big responsibility because Mr. Grizzard literally says, oh, all I have to do is cue the first song and I should be able to leave and you guys can do the whole thing. So having that whole responsibility of an 1.5 to 2 hour show kind of on your back with no crutch or anything to lean on, and he literally just stands back like this the whole entire time. So yeah, it's definitely been a challenge, but I'm really excited.
We then asked Kaylee what Madrigal means to her, her expectations for this year, and the growth she's seen throughout the program.
Madrigal, in my mind, I don't know why, but I've always thought this, it's always seemed so magical, especially because I was so young coming to this and seeing the king and the queen and the prince and the princess and the play and the jester and the Merton sire and everyone dressed up in costumes, which I am wearing. Seeing that ever since I was young and then being a part of that really has just been kind of a dream come true, I guess. The show is really good. We had rehearsal for it this morning, actually. It's a really funny skit. So I'm expecting that it's always really good, but our musical talent this year, we sound really great and we're very early on. So I'm expecting a really good, memorable show. So like I said, the first time I ever went to a dinner was in 4th grade. And it was actually under a different director at that time. And then I guess from then to now, I don't know that I see it any differently because I see it still as this magical thing that I've been going to. But being a part of it, I feel like has changed my perspective because I see how much work goes into it and what we have to do to prepare. And I feel like that has almost enhanced how much I love it and my passion for it. I'd say the choir program in general has become a lot closer knit. My freshman year, the show choir Legacy, I remember all the drama in it and everyone was just kind of crazy and there was like rivalries, it was weird. But now, being a part of it, especially last year and this year, I feel like it's grown closer and it's not like that anymore. We are one big family and we're all working towards one goal. So my first time I ever had to serve was my sophomore year, and I remember getting the book and learning wassail and learning the flaming pudding and I was so stressed out about trying to memorize the words and be as ready as possible. I got into that hideous dress that has been worn for years, smelled terrible, and I just remember how perfect I wanted everything to be, and I was literally just a server. I had to bring chicken to like 3 people, and then I guess the difference between that is there's no difference. I still feel just as stressed out and passionate, and I want it to be perfect, and I want to do the best I can. So I think that just kind of shows, because I know I'm not the only person like that, how much the people in it do love it. Because even if you are just a server, or you are just taking someone to their seat, or if you're on stage, you're in the middle and you're conducting the whole entire thing, I think you will fall in love with it and you will love it. And I think that passion has continued to grow all throughout my life, I guess.
Now to focus more on the play side of the Magical Dinners, our lead actor, Nolan Fry, will be joining us today to talk about his experience in the Magical Mask, along with playing the role of town crier this year.
Hi, I'm Nolan Fry, and I'm part of the Magical Choir here at Greenfield-Central High School. I've been in choir since technically 8th grade. I didn't do it 7th grade because of COVID and everything, but since 7th grade. But I've been in Madrigal since my sophomore year. It kind of, for me, I always wanted to be king, like since freshman year here at the high school, but didn't get that. Obviously, I'm not like overly mad about that, but I am excited to see like how it works out, and I'm glad that I ended up getting a role, and that was something that I was like happy to be able to be a part of personally. It kind of like made me realize like I can do things outside of my comfort zone, which was really nice, which did translate into I'm now Buddy the Elf for the Christmas concert coming up. But it just like kind of pushed me outside of that comfort zone and realized I can do things that might be uncomfortable. Every year, freshmen and sophomores work it. So I freshman year worked it as like a server and got to see like the experience, and then have been in them every year since sophomore year. It's kind of been a weird progression for like I personally think, because it has expanded. Certain parts of it I feel like have gotten better and worse throughout like my years here, but I personally think it's grown a lot, and I'm excited to see its future as well. Yeah, I was actually super excited to step into that going into senior year and being able to step into that kind of role as a leader. I mean, stepping into that with a lot of my friends who are also in it is really exciting to just see how we can affect the group, but also like preparing them for the future.
Thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you this year at the Magical Dinners, December 12th through the 14th.
Welcome back. We hope you learned a little bit about what Magical Dinners are like.
Wow, I for one did. Where can I get tickets at?
You can scan this QR code,
Or the link in the description.
and we hope you have a cool-tastic day and hope to see you at the Magical Dinners.
Want to learn more? Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and make sure to subscribe and smash that like button on YouTube for future videos.